First contact, unexpected allies. The vast expanse of space had always called to humanity, a siren song of endless possibilities. But on that fateful day, as the experimental ship Horizon breached the boundaries of known space, Captain Elara Chen never expected to find herself face to face with the unknown. The Horizon, Earth's most advanced deep space vessel, shuddered as it exited the experimental wormhole drive. Elara's eyes widened as she took in the sight before her, a massive space station, easily dwarfing anything humanity had ever constructed, orbited a distant red giant star. "Status report," she barked, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. Her first officer, Jack Morrison, responded quickly. "All systems operational, Captain. We're approximately 500 light-years from Earth, and we're being hailed." The bridge fell silent as a holographic projection flickered to life. The being that appeared was unlike anything they had ever seen, a towering insectoid creature with iridescent exoskeleton and compound eyes that seemed to shimmer with intelligence. "Greetings, travelers," the alien's voice resonated, translated by their advanced AI. "I am Ambassador Xerix of the Galactic Confederation. Your arrival was unexpected." Elara stepped forward, her heart pounding but her voice unwavering. "I am Captain Elara Chen of the Earth ship Horizon. We come in peace and friendship." The alien's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. "Peace and friendship are admirable goals, Captain, but I'm afraid your presence here complicates matters significantly." Before Elara could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. Jack's voice cut through the chaos. "Captain, we've got company. Multiple vessels decloaking around us." The view screen lit up with a terrifying sight. Sleek, predatory ships surrounded the Horizon, their weapons primed and ready. "I apologize for the deception." Ambassador Xerix's voice held a note of genuine regret. "But we cannot allow an unknown species to freely access Confederation space. You will be escorted to our station for processing." Elara's mind raced. They were outnumbered, outgunned, and completely out of their depth. But giving up wasn't an option. "Ambassador," she said, an idea forming. "Before you take any drastic action, I request the right to plead our case. Surely, a civilization as advanced as yours believes in diplomacy." There was a long pause, and Elara held her breath. Finally, Xerix responded. "Your request is unusual, but granted. You have one solar cycle to prepare your case. Choose your words wisely, Captain Chen. The fate of your species may depend on them." As the communication cut off, Elara turned to her crew. Their faces showed a mix of fear and determination. "All right, people," she said, her voice filled with resolve. "We've got work to do. We're not just representing ourselves anymore. We're representing all of humanity." Little did Elara know that this encounter would set in motion a chain of events that would reshape the galaxy. As the Horizon was escorted to the massive space station, humanity's greatest trial, and its greatest opportunity, was about to begin. In the following hours, Elara and her crew worked tirelessly. They compiled data on human history, culture, and achievements. They'd prepared arguments for why humanity deserved a chance to join the galactic community. But most importantly, they steeled themselves to the challenges ahead. As they approached the space station, its true scale became apparent. It was a marvel of engineering, a city in space that housed millions of beings from across the galaxy. The Horizon docked in a cavernous bay, dwarfed by the alien vessels surrounding it. When the airlock opened, Elara led her small delegation onto the station. They were immediately struck by the diversity of life forms bustling about, creatures of all shapes, sizes, and compositions. Some floated in anti-gravity fields, others slithered along the walls, and still others seemed to phase in and out of visible existence. They were led to a grand chamber, clearly designed for diplomatic functions. At its center stood Ambassador Xerix, flanked by representatives of a dozen other species. The atmosphere was tense, filled with curious and suspicious glances. "Captain Chen," Xerix's voice echoed in the chamber. You stand before the Galactic Confederation Council. Your presence here is unprecedented. Never before has an uncontacted species stumbled upon our borders. You claim to come in peace, yet your arrival threatens the very foundation of our society. Ilara stepped forward, her chin held high. Esteemed members of the council, she began, her voice clear and strong. We come before you not as conquerors or thieves, but as explorers and potential friends. Humanity has long dreamed of this moment, the day would know we are not alone in the universe. She gestured to the data tablets they had prepared. We offer you our history, our culture, our achievements. We have overcome great challenges, united our world, and reached for the stars. We have much to learn, but also much to offer. A reptilian being leaned forward, its forked tongue flicking out. Pretty words, human. But how do we know you speak the truth? How can we trust a species that accidentally stumbled upon our most closely guarded secrets? Ilara met the alien's gaze steadily. Trust is earned, not given. We ask for the chance to earn that trust, to prove ourselves worthy of standing among you. Murmurs rippled through the assembled aliens. Some seemed intrigued, others remained skeptical. But before anyone could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. Screens flickered to life, showing a terrifying sight. A massive fleet of ships, unlike any Ilara had seen before, emerging from what looked like a tear in space itself. Ambassador Zyrix's compound eyes widened in fear. Impossible, he whispered. The Void Hunters. They found us. As chaos erupted in the chamber, Ilara realized that humanity's trial had just become something far more dangerous. The fate of not just Earth, but perhaps the entire galaxy, now hung in the balance. The Galactic Summit, humans on trial. As alarms blared throughout the station, the once orderly council chamber descended into chaos. Alien diplomats scrambled for information, their translators struggling to keep up with the rapid-fire communications. Captain Ilara Chen stood her ground, her mind racing. This was far beyond anything she had prepared for, but she knew that how humanity responded in this crisis could define their place in the galactic community. Ambassador Zyrix, she called out, her voice cutting through the pandemonium. What are these Void Hunters? How can we help? The insectoid alien turned to her, compound eyes reflecting a mix of fear and surprise. You offer aid, even as you stand accused before us. Ilara nodded firmly. Where I come from, we set aside our differences in the face of a common threat. If these Void Hunters endanger us all, then our fates are linked. A moment of silence fell over the chamber as the aliens regarded the humans with new eyes. Then, a holographic display flickered to life, showing the approaching enemy fleet. Zyrix began to explain, his voice grave. The Void Hunters are a scourge upon our galaxy. They emerge from the spaces between realities, consuming all in their path. We've managed to keep them at bay for millennia. But now, he trailed off, mandibles clicking in distress. Jack Morrison, Ilara's first officer, stepped forward. With respect, Ambassador, we need more information. What are their capabilities, their weaknesses? As if in answer, the station shuddered under a barrage of energy weapons. The Void Hunters had begun their assault. There's no time, a crystalline being chimed in, its voice like tinkling glass. We must evacuate. But Ilara saw an opportunity. No, she said, her voice filled with determination. We stand and fight. Humanity has faced extinction-level threats before and survived. We can help you do the same. Her words seemed to galvanize the alien council. The reptilian who had questioned her earlier hissed, "And how do you propose to do that, human? Your technology is primitive compared to ours, and even we cannot stop the Void Hunters." Ilara smiled, a plan already forming. Sometimes, Ambassador, it's not about having the most advanced technology. It's about using what you have in ways your enemy doesn't expect. She turned to her crew. Jack, contact the Horizon. Have them prepare for combat operations. Dr. Lakshmi, I need you to interface with the station's systems. Learn everything you can about our defenses and the Void Hunter's attack patterns. As her team sprang into action, Ilara addressed the council once more. We may be on trial here, but right now, that doesn't matter. What matters is survival. We're offering our help, our ideas, and if necessary, our lives to defend this station and everyone on it. Will you work with us? There was a moment of tense silence, broken only by the distant sounds of battle. Then, slowly, Ambassador Zyrix nodded. Very well, Captain Chen. Show us what humanity can do. What followed was a whirlwind of activity. The Horizon, small but agile, joined the station's defensive fleet. Dr. Lakshmi, the xenotechnology expert, worked feverishly with alien scientists to analyze the Void Hunter's tactics. As the battle raged outside, Ilara found herself in the heart of the station's command center, surrounded by beings from a dozen different species. Despite their earlier mistrust, they now looked to her for guidance. Their ships, Ilara mused, studying the tactical displays. They're not just technologically advanced, they're adapting, learning from our defenses. A gelatinous alien burbled in agreement. Yes, it is why they are so difficult to defeat. They evolve their tactics faster than we can counter them. Ilara's eyes lit up. Then we need to be unpredictable. Dr. Lakshmi, what if we use the station's power core to generate a massive electromagnetic pulse? The scientist's voice crackled over the comm. It could work, Captain, but it would leave us defenseless as well. Not if we time it right, Ilara countered. She turned to the alien commanders. We need to lure them in close, make them think they're about to breach our defenses. Then, when they commit their forces, we hit them with everything we've got. The plan was risky, audacious even, but as the Void Hunters pressed their advantage, it became clear that conventional tactics wouldn't be enough. Hours passed in a blur of tense planning and nail-biting skirmishes. The Horizon darted between larger ships, its human crew pulling off maneuvers that left their alien allies in awe. On the station, Dr. Lakshmi worked miracles, integrating human ingenuity with alien technology in ways neither side had imagined possible. Finally, the moment of truth arrived. The Void Hunters, sensing victory, pressed forward en masse. Ilara watched the tactical display, her heart pounding. Hold, she commanded, even as friendly ships fell to the enemy onslaught. Hold, now. A blinding flash erupted from the station, followed by a wave of energy that rippled across space. For a terrifying moment, everything went dark. Then, as systems slowly came back online, a cheer went up from the alien crew. The Void Hunters' ships drifted lifelessly, their adaptive systems overloaded by the unexpected attack. As the defending fleet moved in to mop up the remaining enemy forces, Ilara found herself surrounded by grateful aliens. Ambassador Zyrix approached, his iridescent exoskeleton gleaming under the emergency lights. Captain Chen, he said, his voice filled with a new respect. It seems we owe you and your crew a great debt. Your quick thinking and unconventional tactics have saved countless lives today. Ilara nodded, exhausted but proud. We're just glad we could help, Ambassador. This is what humanity does best, face the impossible and find a way through. The reptilian diplomat who had been so skeptical earlier slithered forward. Perhaps it hissed thoughtfully, we were too hasty in our judgment of your species. Your actions today have given us much to consider. As the immediate danger passed and repair efforts began, the Galactic Council reconvened. This time, however, the atmosphere was markedly different. Where before there had been suspicion and hostility, now there was curiosity and even admiration. Ambassador Zyrix addressed the assembly. Esteemed colleagues, recent events have forced us to re-evaluate our position. The humans have proven themselves to be not just technologically capable, but possessed of a creativity and adaptability that could greatly benefit our confederation. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. The crystalline being chimed in. Their unorthodox approach to problem-solving could be invaluable in our ongoing struggles against threats like the Void Hunters. As the discussion continued, it became clear that humanity's impromptu trial had taken an unexpected turn. Instead of being judged, they were now being courted as potential allies. Ilara stepped forward, feeling the weight of her entire species on her shoulders. Members of the Council, we came here seeking friendship and cooperation. We've shown you a small glimpse of what humanity can offer, but we have so much more to learn from you as well. If you'll have us, we'd be honored to join your confederation as equal partners, working together to face the challenges that lie ahead. The council chamber erupted in a cacophony of alien voices, some excited, others still cautious. But as Ilara looked around, she knew that a new chapter in human history had begun. Whatever trials lay ahead, humanity would face them not alone, but as part of a vast, diverse galactic community. As the formal negotiations began, Ilara couldn't help but smile. They had come seeking the unknown and found not just new allies, but a whole new destiny among the stars. Cosmic threats emerge, humanity's ingenuity tested. In the months following the Void Hunter attack, humanity's integration into the Galactic Confederation progressed at a dizzying pace. Aleph had been officially welcomed as a probationary member, with Captain Ilara Chen and her crew serving as the primary liaisons between their homeworld and their new alien allies. The horizon, now emblazoned with the Confederation's insignia alongside Earth's flag, had become a symbol of this new era of cooperation. Its crew, expanded to include representatives from various alien species, traveled the stars, facilitating cultural exchanges and technological collaborations. On this particular day, Ilara stood on the horizon's observation deck, gazing out at the swirling, prismatic nebula that surrounded them. Beside her, Ambassador Zurich's antennae twitched with what she had come to recognize as excitement. Captain Chen, the insectoid diplomat, chittered, "I must say, your species continues to surprise us. The way your scientists have adapted our faster-than-light technology is unprecedented." Ilara smiled, a hint of pride in her voice. "Thank you, Ambassador. We've always believed that our greatest strength lies in our ability to innovate and adapt, but we couldn't have done it without the Confederation's trust and resources." The conversation was interrupted by an urgent comm from the bridge. "Captain, we're receiving a priority distress signal from the Andromeda outpost." Jack's voice crackled through the speaker. "It's like nothing we've ever seen before." Ilara and Zurich exchanged worried glances before rushing to the bridge. The main view screen flickered to life, showing a haggard-looking alien, a Thelaxian, if Ilara remembered correctly, its bioluminescent skin pulsing erratically with distress. "This is Administrator Locks of Andromeda Outpost," the alien's translated voice rang out, filled with panic. "We are under attack by an unknown entity. Our defenses are failing, and, by the cosmic core, it's consuming the very fabric of space-time. We need immediate assistance." The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Ilara's mind raced, processing the implications. The Andromeda Outpost was one of the Confederation's most distant and strategically important installations, serving as a gateway to unexplored regions of space. "Set course for the Andromeda Outpost, maximum speed," Ilara commanded, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "Alert Confederation High Command and request reinforcements." As the horizon leaped into hyperspace, Ilara gathered her senior staff and Ambassador Zurich for an emergency briefing. Dr. Lakshmi, their xenotechnology expert, pulled up the scant data they had received from the outpost before communications were lost. "Whatever this entity is," Dr. Lakshmi explained, her holographic display showing a swirling vortex of dark energy, "it's unlike anything in Confederation records. It appears to be feeding on the very structure of space-time, growing larger and more powerful with each moment." Jack leaned forward, his brow furrowed. Could it be related to the Void Hunters? Another extra-dimensional threat? Zurich's compound eyes flickered uncertainly. Possible, but unlikely. This seems more primordial, as if the universe itself has developed an autoimmune response to our presence. Ilara absorbed the information, her tactical mind already formulating potential strategies. Dr. Lakshmi, work with the Confederation scientists on board. See if you can find any weaknesses or patterns in this entity's behavior. Jack, I want our weapons and shields at maximum readiness. We may be walking into a war zone. As the crew dispersed to their tasks, Ilara felt the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. This wasn't just about proving humanity's worth anymore. The fate of an entire sector of the galaxy, perhaps more, hung in the balance. Hours later, as they approached the Andromeda outpost, the true scale of the threat became apparent. The once bustling space station was barely recognizable, its outer structures twisted and warped by the gravitational forces surrounding it. And at the center of it all, a pulsating mass of dark energy slowly consumed everything in its path. By all that's holy, Jack whispered, his face pale as he stared at the view screen. How do we fight something like that? Ilara's mind raced, drawing on everything she had learned about Confederation technology and combining it with humanity's out-of-the-box thinking. We don't fight it, she said slowly, an idea forming. We contain it. She turned to Dr. Lakshmi. Doctor, those modified shield emitters we've been working on, the ones designed to create stable wormholes. Could we use them to create a kind of space-time bubble around that thing? Dr. Lakshmi's eyes widened as she caught on to Ilara's plan. Theoretically, yes. But Captain, the power requirements would be enormous. We'd be risking a complete burnout of our systems. And ourselves along with it, Jack added grimly. Ilara nodded, acknowledging the risk. It's a gamble, but right now, it's the only plan we've got. Ambassador Xerix, we'll need the cooperation of any surviving ships in the area. Can you coordinate with them? The insectoid diplomat nodded, already moving to the communications station. It shall be done, Captain, but I must warn you, the Confederation High Council may not approve of such a risky maneuver. Then we'd better act fast, Ilara replied, a determined glint in her eye. Sometimes it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. What followed was a frenzy of activity as the Horizon and the remaining Confederation ships in the area prepared for their daring plan. Dr. Lakshmi worked tirelessly, reproposing the ship's systems in ways their designers had never intended. Jack coordinated with the other vessels, ensuring their movements would be in perfect sync. As they made their final approach, Ilara addressed her crew and their alien allies. What we're about to attempt has never been done before. We're facing an enemy we don't understand, using technology we've barely tested. But that's what humans do best. We innovate, we adapt, and we overcome. Together with our Confederation allies, we're going to save this outpost and stop this threat before it can spread further. The bridge fell silent as the Horizon took its position. Around them, the surviving Confederation ships formed a precise geometric pattern, their modified shield emitters aimed at the swirling vortex of dark energy. All ships report ready, Captain, Jack announced, his voice tense. Ilara took a deep breath, her hand hovering over the command console. Then let's make history. Initiate containment protocol, now. Beams of energy lanced out from the assembled ships, converging on the space-time anomaly. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly, a shimmering bubble began to form around the entity, separating it from the surrounding space. The Horizon shuddered as its systems strained to maintain the enormous energy output. Warning klaxons blared as power fluctuations rippled through the ship. But Ilara held firm, her eyes fixed on the view screen. It's working, Dr. Lakshmi exclaimed, her voice filled with a mixture of excitement and disbelief. The anomaly is being contained. But their victory was far from assured. As the bubble tightened around the entity, it seemed to become aware of their efforts. The dark energy writhed and pulsed, sending out tendrils that probed at the edges of its prison. Containment field at 60% and falling, Jack reported, his fingers flying over his console. "We can't keep this up much longer." Ilara's mind raced, searching for a solution. Then, in a flash of inspiration, she turned to Ambassador Zyrix. "The station's power core, it's still intact, isn't it?" The alien's antennae twitched in affirmation. "Yes, but I fail to see how." "If we can channel its energy into our containment field," Ilara explained rapidly, "we might be able to collapse the anomaly in on itself." It was a desperate gambit, but they were out of options. As Zyrix relayed the plan to the station's few surviving crew members, Ilara steeled herself for what came next. "All ships, prepare for emergency power transfer," she commanded. "On my mark, divert all remaining energy to the containment field." The next few moments were a blur of frantic activity. The Horizon systems screamed in protest as they were pushed beyond their limits. The viewscreen flickered and died, leaving them blind to the cosmic battle raging outside. Then, just as it seemed their efforts would fail, a massive surge of energy flooded through their systems. The station's power core, its failsafes overridden, poured its life force into the containment field. A blinding flash lit up space, forcing everyone to shield their eyes. When they looked again, the anomaly was gone, leaving behind only a shimmering afterimage and a profound silence. As systems slowly came back online, the true scale of their accomplishment became clear. They had faced an unprecedented threat and emerged victorious, saving not just the Andromeda outpost, but potentially the entire galaxy from a force that defied understanding. Ilara slumped in her chair, exhaustion and relief washing over her in equal measure. Around her, human and alien crew members embraced, their differences forgotten in the shared triumph of survival. Ambassador Zyrix approached, his exoskeleton gleaming under the emergency lights. "Captain Chen," he said, his voice filled with genuine admiration, "once again, you and your crew have done the impossible. The Confederation owes you a debt that can never be repaid." Ilara managed a tired smile. "We're all in this together, Ambassador. Humanity is part of something greater now, and we'll face whatever challenges the universe throws at us side by side with our new allies." As the Horizon limped back towards Confederation space, news of their incredible feat spread like wildfire. Humanity, once viewed with suspicion and doubt, was now hailed as saviors. But Ilara knew that this was just the beginning. New threats, new mysteries, and new opportunities awaited them among the stars. The journey that had begun with a chance encounter had led them to the very edge of known science and back. And as Ilara looked out at the star-studded expanse of space, she knew that humanity's greatest adventures were still to come. Battle for survival. Humans lead the charge. The aftermath of the Andromeda incident reverberated throughout the Galactic Confederation. Humanity's pivotal role in averting a cosmic catastrophe had elevated Earth's status from probationary member to a key player in interstellar affairs. Captain Ilara Chen, once a simple explorer, now found herself at the center of a rapidly changing political landscape. As the Horizon docked at the massive space station that served as the Confederation's headquarters, Ilara couldn't shake the feeling that their trials were far from over. The corridors bustled with activity, representatives from 1,000 worlds discussing the implications of the recent events in a cacophony of translated voices. "Captain Chen," a familiar voice called out. Ilara turned to see Ambassador Zyrix approaching, accompanied by a delegation of high-ranking Confederation officials. "Your presence is required in the Grand Chamber. The High Council wishes to hear your full report and to discuss the future." Ilara nodded, straightening her uniform. "Of course, Ambassador. Lead the way." As they made their way through the station, Ilara couldn't help but marvel at how far they'd come. Just months ago, humans were unknown to the galactic community. Now, aliens of all shapes and sizes nodded respectfully as she passed. The Grand Chamber was a sight to behold, a vast amphitheater designed to accommodate beings from every corner of the galaxy. As Ilara took her place at the center, she felt the weight of countless eyes upon her. The High Counselor, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline matrix, spoke first. Its voice resonated through the chamber, translated simultaneously into thousands of languages. Captain Elara Chen of Earth, you stand before us as both savior and harbinger. Your actions at the Andromeda outpost have safeguarded countless lives, yet they have also awakened us to threats we scarcely comprehended. We must know, what insights have you gained from your encounter with the cosmic anomaly? Elara took a deep breath, choosing her words carefully. High Counselor, esteemed members of the Confederation, what we faced at Andromeda was beyond our current understanding, but it's clear that our universe holds dangers we've only begun to imagine. The anomaly seemed to react to our presence, as if the very fabric of space-time had become aware and hostile. Murmurs rippled through the assembled delegates. A Vulcan representative, its plasma-based form shimmering with agitation, spoke up. Are you suggesting, Captain, that the universe itself is turning against us? Not necessarily, Elara replied, her mind racing to articulate the theories she'd been formulating. But our activities, our expansion, our manipulation of space-time through FTL travel, may be having unintended consequences on a cosmic scale. We may have drawn the attention of forces beyond our comprehension. The chamber erupted into heated debate. Some delegates called for a halt to all expansion and exploration, while others demanded more aggressive research into these cosmic phenomena. Amidst the chaos, Elara noticed a group of shadowy figures observing from a secluded balcony, their features obscured by advanced cloaking technology. Before she could ponder their presence, alarms blared throughout the station. The High Counselor's form pulsed urgently as it addressed the assembly. We are under attack. Multiple anomalies, similar to the Andromeda incident, have appeared throughout Confederation space. Our outer colonies are going dark, and, by the cosmic core, they're converging on our position. Panic gripped the chamber, but Elara's military training kicked in. She raised her voice, cutting through the din. High Counselor, members of the Confederation, we don't have time for debate. We need to act now if we're to have any chance of survival. To her surprise, the High Counselor's crystalline form seemed to nod in agreement. You are right, Captain Chen. In light of recent events and your proven capability, we are granting you emergency authority to coordinate our defense. What do you propose? Elara's mind raced, formulating a plan even as she spoke. We need to consolidate our forces. Recall all available ships to form a defensive perimeter around key Confederation worlds. Dr. Lakshmi and our science team will need access to all available data on these anomalies. There has to be a pattern we can exploit. She turned to Ambassador Zurix. We'll need to evacuate non-essential personnel from vulnerable outposts. And she hesitated, knowing her next request would be controversial. We need to reach out to species beyond the Confederation, even those we've had difficult relations with in the past. This threat affects all of us. The chamber fell silent, the weight of the moment palpable. Then, slowly, voices of agreement began to rise. The High Counselor's form pulsed with what Elara interpreted as approval. It shall be done, Captain Chen. We place the fate of the Confederation in your hands. What followed was a whirlwind of activity. The horizon, hastily refitted with the latest Confederation technology, became the nerve center of the defense effort. Elara found herself coordinating fleets of ships she'd never even seen before, their alien designs a testament to the diversity of the coalition they were building. Dr. Lakshmi and her team worked tirelessly, analyzing data streams from across the galaxy. Captain, she reported, her holographic image flickering with excitement, we found something. These anomalies, they're not random. They're following the paths of our major trade routes and communication networks. Elara leaned forward, her mind racing with the implications. They're using our own infrastructure against us, but that means we can predict where they'll appear next, Lakshmi finished, and maybe, just maybe, set a trap. Armed with this knowledge, Elara devised a daring plan. They would use the Confederation's vast network of hyperspace beacons to create a massive, interconnected web. When the anomalies appeared, they would trigger a cascading reaction, hopefully destabilizing the entities long enough for their ships to land a decisive blow. As the plan was set in motion, Ilara addressed the combined fleet. Faces of 1,000 different species looked back at her from screens throughout the ship. "We stand at a pivotal moment in galactic history," she began, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility. "The threat we face is unlike anything we've encountered before, but that's exactly why we will prevail. Our diversity, our unique perspectives and abilities, these are our greatest strengths." She paused, looking out at the sea of stars beyond the view screen. "Humanity is the newest member of this grand coalition, but we bring with us millennia of struggle, of overcoming impossible odds. Together with the wisdom and technology of the Confederation, there is no challenge we cannot face. Today, we fight not just for our individual worlds, but for the very future of life in this galaxy." A chorus of cheers, roars, and other alien vocalizations erupted across the communication channels. As one, the massive fleet moved into position, ready to face whatever horrors the universe might throw at them. The wait was agonizing. Hours stretched into days as they held their positions, every sensor trained on the vast emptiness of space. And then, finally, it began. Reality itself seemed to tear as the anomalies burst into existence, dark tendrils of energy reaching out hungrily. But this time, they were ready. "All ships, execute Maneuver Omega," Ilara commanded. The fleet moved with precision, herding the anomalies towards the prepared hyperspace web. The battle that followed defied description. Ships darted between writhing masses of dark energy, weapons fire lighting up the void. Some vessels were lost, crushed by gravitational forces, or simply winked out of existence. But for every loss, the combined fleet fought harder, their disparate tactics forming a symphony of destruction against the cosmic horrors. At the critical moment, Ilara gave the signal. The hyperspace beacons activated simultaneously, creating a blinding lattice of energy that engulfed the anomalies. For a heart-stopping moment, it seemed as if the gambit had failed. Then, with a silent scream that every being felt in their very souls, the anomalies began to collapse in on themselves. "Push forward," Ilara shouted, her voice hoarse with exertion. "Don't let up." The fleet unleashed everything they had, pouring fire into the destabilizing entities. In a final cataclysmic burst of energy, the anomalies imploded, leaving behind nothing but a shimmering afterglow. As the realization of victory slowly dawned, cheers erupted throughout the fleet. Ships of all designs and origins flew victory laps around each other, their crews celebrating as one unified force. On the bridge of the horizon, Ilara slumped in her chair, exhaustion and relief washing over her in equal measure. Ambassador Zyrix approached, his normally composed demeanor showing signs of the ordeal they'd just endured. "Captain Chen," he said, his voice filled with genuine admiration, "once again, you and your species have proven yourselves invaluable. The Confederation, no, the galaxy, owes you a debt that can never be repaid." Ilara managed a tired smile. "We're all in this together, Ambassador. Human, insectoid, energy being. Today proved that when we unite, there's nothing we can't overcome." As the fleet began the journey back to Confederation space, Ilara knew that this victory, while significant, was just the beginning. They had faced down a cosmic threat and emerged victorious, but questions remained. Where had these anomalies come from? Would they return? And what other challenges awaited them in the vast, unknown expanses of the universe? One thing was certain: humanity's journey among the stars had only just begun. With new allies at their side and unknown frontiers ahead, the greatest adventures were yet to come. Turning the tide, human creativity saves the day. In the wake of their victory against the cosmic anomalies, the Galactic Confederation entered a period of rapid change and adaptation. Captain Ilara Chen, now hailed as a hero across multiple star systems, found herself at the forefront of a new initiative aimed at understanding and preventing future cosmic threats. The Horizon, refitted with the latest in hybrid human-alien technology, had become a mobile research station and diplomatic hub. As they traveled from world to world, Ilara and her diverse crew worked tirelessly to strengthen the bonds between species and search for clues about the nature of the universe itself. It was during a routine survey of a seemingly unremarkable star system that they made a breakthrough. Dr. Lakshmi, poring over data from their enhanced sensors, noticed an unusual pattern in the quantum fluctuations of space-time. "Captain," she called out, her holographic image flickering with excitement, "I think we found something. These patterns, they're similar to the energy signatures we detected just before the anomalies appeared, but on a much smaller scale." Ilara leaned in, studying the complex web of data. "Are you saying we can predict where these things might form?" "Not just predict," Lakshmi replied, her eyes gleaming. "I think we might be able to influence them. Look here." She brought up a series of equations that made Ilara's head spin. "If we can manipulate these quantum fields in just the right way, we might be able to, well, to speak to the universe itself." The implications were staggering. If they could communicate with the fundamental forces of reality, they might be able to prevent future cosmic calamities before they even began. But as they delved deeper into their research, a new threat emerged. A faction within the Confederation, fearful of the power this knowledge could bring, sought to suppress their findings. Led by the shadowy figures Ilara had glimpsed during the council meeting, they launched a campaign of sabotage and misinformation. Ilara found herself fighting a war on two fronts, against the unknown forces of the cosmos and against those who would keep that knowledge hidden. It was a battle that would test not just her tactical skills, but her diplomatic acumen and her faith in the power of truth and cooperation. The climax came in a tense standoff above a remote gas giant, where Ilara's team had discovered a nascent anomaly forming in the planet's turbulent atmosphere. As they prepared to test their new quantum communication device, a fleet of ships belonging to the secretive faction appeared, weapons primed. "Stand down, Captain Chen," a distorted voice commanded over the comms. "You're meddling with forces beyond your comprehension." Ilara stood firm, her voice steady as she addressed not just the opposing fleet, but the crews of the allied ships that had come to their aid. "We stand at the threshold of a new understanding of our universe. Yes, it's frightening. Yes, it's beyond anything we've known before. But that's exactly why we must press forward. Together, we can face these challenges. Divided, we'll fall before them." Her words seemed to hang in the void for a moment. Then, slowly, ships from the opposing fleet began to power down their weapons. The voice spoke again, this time with a note of resignation. Perhaps you're right, Captain. We've been so focused on maintaining the status quo that we've forgotten the spirit of exploration that brought us to the stars in the first place." With the immediate threat neutralized, Ilara and her team activated their device. The gas giant's atmosphere began to swirl with patterns of light, forming complex geometric shapes that seemed to defy the laws of physics. And then, to everyone's amazement, they received a response. It wasn't in any language they recognized, but somehow they all understood. The universe itself was communicating with them, acknowledging their presence and their role in the grand tapestry of existence. As the implications of this contact sank in, Ilara realized that they had turned a corner. Humanity, along with their alien allies, had not just saved the day, they had opened the door to a new era of cosmic understanding. A new era, humanity's place in the stars. The years that followed the quantum communication breakthrough were a time of unprecedented growth and discovery for the Galactic Confederation. The knowledge gained from their conversations with the universe itself led to advancements in technology, medicine, and environmental restoration that transformed worlds across the galaxy. Ilara Chen, now an admiral and Earth's primary representative to the Confederation, stood on the observation deck of Unity Station, a massive structure orbiting a neutron star that served as the new headquarters for interstellar cooperation. Beside her stood Ambassador Xerix, his iridescent exoskeleton shimmering in the starlight. "It's hard to believe how far we've come," Ilara mused, watching ships of all shapes and sizes dock with the station. "Just a few years ago, we were strangers to the galaxy. Now, Xerix finished, you are essential to its future. Your species' unique blend of creativity, adaptability, and determination has changed us all for the better." Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of Dr. Lakshmi, now the head of the Confederation's Science Council. "Admiral, Ambassador," she greeted them, her eyes bright with excitement. "The final preparations are complete. We're ready to attempt our first controlled creation of a stable wormhole." The three of them made their way to the control center, where representatives from dozens of species waited in anticipation. This experiment, if successful, would revolutionize travel and communication across the galaxy. As the countdown began, Ilara reflected on the journey it had brought them here. From that first, unexpected encounter with the Confederation to the battles against cosmic forces and internal strife, humanity had proven itself time and again. But more importantly, they had learned the value of cooperation, of combining their strengths with those of their alien allies to achieve the impossible. The room fell silent as the final seconds ticked away. Then, with a flash of light and a ripple of energy that they felt in their very bones, a swirling portal opened in space before them. Cheers erupted as the readings confirmed what they could all see: a stable, traversable wormhole created not by random chance, but by the combined efforts of a united galaxy. As the celebration continued around her, Ilara stepped closer to the viewscreen, gazing into the shimmering depths of the wormhole. Beyond it lay new worlds, new challenges, and new wonders waiting to be discovered. And humanity, once confined to a single world, would be at the forefront of this new age of exploration. "Well, Admiral," Xerix said, joining her at the viewscreen, "it seems your species has found its place in the stars after all." Ilara nodded, a smile playing on her lips. "We have, Ambassador, but this is just the beginning. The greatest adventures, the biggest challenges, and the most incredible discoveries, they're all still waiting for us out there." As if in response to her words, the wormhole pulsed with a new intensity, beckoning them forward into the unknown. Humanity had not just found its place among the stars, they had helped reshape the very nature of galactic civilization. And as Ilara gave the order to prepare the first expedition through the wormhole, she knew that the true golden age of exploration was only just beginning. The story of humanity's rise from an unknown species to a pivotal force in the galaxy had been one of courage, innovation, and cooperation. But as they stood on the brink of a new era of cosmic discovery, Ilara and her companions knew that their greatest chapters were yet to be written. As the first ship disappeared into the wormhole, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of countless beings, a new chapter in the history of the galaxy began. And at its heart was the indomitable spirit of humanity, reaching ever outward, ever onward, to the infinite possibilities that awaited them among the stars. The end.